What if I told you the reason you can't seem to shoulder heavier sandbags has nothing to do with strength, muscle, body weight, technique, or even skill, and all comes down to one thing? A thing so simple, once you see it, you'll find yourself laughing at how obvious it is. Something so painstakingly there that once you know what to look for, you'll never watch anyone shoulder a sandbag in the same way ever again. Well, that is what I'm telling you. The reason you can't shoulder heavier sandbags is because you have the wrong idea about where the movement begins. The sandbag to shoulder starts on the ground, not when it's held against the chest. Let's cover the typical scenario. A new sandbag lifter discovers the sandbag to shoulder and gets excited AF, as he should, it's awesome, and rushes in head first. He picks that sandbag up off the ground and sets it on his lap, quickly lifts it up from his lap to his lower chest without much thought, and then begins working on shouldering the bag. In his mind, the movement is all about that chest to shoulder part. That's where everything begins, and it's all he can think about. Which makes sense. When you watch others shouldering heavy weights, that's where all the action is. It's the exciting part of the movement. But approaching the lift in that way, he makes things way harder on himself, and as the months go by, eventually he gets stuck and can't seem to move up in weight. He continues getting stronger with everything else. His rows and carries and squats are all moving. He's added a bunch of muscle size. For the first time in his life, he can really feel those spinal erectors just popping out like steel cables running up his back, and his hands and forearms seem to have doubled in thickness. His biceps have grown without curls somehow, and he recently got a compliment from his girlfriend about his butt. For the most part, everything is going well, and yet he can't seem to shoulder that heavier sandbag. The reason why is simple. He's been setting himself up for failure from the start. By seeing the sandbag to shoulder as chest to shoulder rather than ground to shoulder, he skips over those parts of the movement where he's strongest and forces himself to do all kinds of extra work in that position where he's weakest, sandbag held against his chest. His attempts always go something like this: ground to lap, then lap to chest without much thought, over and done with pretty quick. Then what follows is a good 30 seconds of him trying and mostly failing to slowly hike that sandbag up to his shoulder, inch by inch, little by little bit. Eventually, once he's most of the way there, finally, bag held all the way up against his upper chest, he's so worn out he has nothing left for that last heave and drops the bag. I'm sure you've seen many attempts like that before. Here's what I would recommend to our lifter. 1. The lift begins before you even touch the sandbag. You must go into your attempt with a plan. You must know exactly how you plan on moving the weight, how you'll lift it from the ground, how you'll position it on your lap once you do, and then exactly how many heaves it will take you to move that bag from your lap to your shoulder. Do not buy into the idea that not having a plan is the best way to go because it will make the exercise more rugged and challenging or some nonsense like that. No, as with any exercise, especially those with lots of moving parts like the sandbag to shoulder, you must plan ahead. Just as you wouldn't attempt a clean and jerk by cleaning a barbell, then deciding randomly on the fly how you'll get it overhead this time around, and just as in the field, wherever that may be, you wouldn't just lift first, think later, at least not completely, never go into shouldering a sandbag blind. 2. Choose the ground to lap lifting technique that uses the least amount of energy. Don't worry about how the sandbag will end up on your lap once you lift it, horizontal or vertical. You can always flip the bag from one position to the other once it's there. Just use the lifting style that's easiest for you. For many lifters, the progression goes something like this. Initially, the horizontal lifting style feels easiest, then once the sandbag becomes longer, it's the vertical lifting style, and once the bag gets even longer than that, it's the standing upright bear hug lifting technique that's easiest. Just a typical example, by the way. Things may be different for you. All lifting styles are valid, just find the one that's easiest and takes the least amount of energy to do. 3. Once you know how you plan on lifting the bag from the ground, attack the weight with max intensity. Get that part of the movement over and done with as quickly as you can, and get that nervous system fired up. Just as you often hear world-class barbell lifters talk about the importance of the warm-up, how lifting those light warm-up weights as if they were heavy primes the CNS to lift the actually heavy weights, think of the lift from the ground as setting you up for everything that comes after, acting as a signal, telling your body work is about to be done and that no half effort will be tolerated. Always remember, lifting a sandbag from the ground with max intensity will increase your strength. not use it up. 4. Once the sandbag is on your lap, quickly move it into whichever position you plan on lifting it from. As in, if the sandbag is currently resting vertically and you plan on lifting it horizontally, push it over, and if it's the other way around, flip it to a standing position. That second one may become nearly impossible way down the line, but it is doable for a long time. You might assume you would save more energy by lifting a bag from the ground to your lap so it ends in the position you want straight away, even if that ground to lap lifting style is extra challenging for you, but in my experience, that's not true. Of course, if you can find a lifting style that accomplishes both at the same time, easy off the ground while landing the bag exactly how you want it on your lap straight away, that would be best, but do what you gotta do. I hope that makes sense. All I'm trying to say here is always set up so the lift from the ground is as easy as possible, and worry about the rest later. You'll be better off that way. 5. Once the bag is on your lap and positioned how you want it, take your time and prepare. Accept somewhere deep down in your soul that the lift from the lap to the chest is the most important step in the entire ground to shoulder lifting chain. Do not rush past this part or you will fail. If someone is struggling to shoulder a sandbag, 95% of the time it's because they skipped over this part of the movement. Don't be that person. Once that bag is on your lap, your main goal, the main thing central to everything, is bringing that sandbag as high up on your chest, as close to your shoulder in one go as you physically can. If there is one part of the lift that determines whether you succeed or fail, this is it. If you forget everything else I say today in this video, remember this. Bring the bag as high as you can with that first lift from the lap. Why? Simple biomechanics. When a sandbag is on your lap, regardless of whatever technique you use to lift it, you will have more strength potential than when a bag is held against your chest. With a bag on your lap, you're able to make full, complete use of triple extension to generate force, that being extension of the ankles, knees, and hips, and possibly even what I've been calling quadruple extension, which involves extending the thoracic spine as well. Whereas when a bag is held against your chest, you can't really bend at your hips much, meaning you must rely solely on your ankles and knees to generate force. Seeing as hip extension is powered by the glutes, the biggest and strongest muscle in the entire body, it only makes sense that your strength potential will be higher when hip extension is involved. Just a quick side note, when making this argument, I always picture the Maasai tribe and their insane jumping. They're able to jump super high, basically just using their ankles as springs and forgetting the rest. No hip drive whatsoever. It seems like maybe that would be a case against what I'm saying here, but I do believe the game changes when there's heavy weight involved. Jumping with a heavy sandbag is not the same as jumping without. Just something I wanted to add, because I always think about it. 6. Once the sandbag is held against your chest, hopefully high up, complete the movement as quickly as you can using the exact plan you laid out for yourself before you picked up the bag. Keep in mind, quickly does not mean wildly or rushed. Precision must still be a part of the equation, and your preferred lifting style might take a while to finish. That's okay. What I mean by quickly is that you cannot hesitate. You must attack every step of the movement from the chest on up with unbreakable confidence, believing completely in yourself and in your strength to get the job done. If you hesitate, you will fail. Always keep the plan in mind. Again, do not go into your sandbag to shoulder attempts blind. Just as an example, a couple years ago, having a clear plan is what allowed me to unlock that elusive 250 to shoulder for the first time. After a few months mastering the Cerberus 220 to shoulder, I'd filled my Iron Mine bag up to 250 and went for it. I got pretty close on my first try, but after that, no matter what I did, I just kept failing at the exact same spot every single time. I believe it was 2 or 3 workouts in a row, I kept getting the sandbag to the same place on my upper chest, to that point where all I would need to complete the lift was one final heave, and I just couldn't do it. Eventually, after much trial and failure, I understood. I can remember the exact moment when I realized what had to be done. Up until that point, I had gotten by mostly on willpower alone. I'd just walk up to whatever sandbag, full of rage, and make it happen. 250 was different. For me, that weight represented new territory, and I realized if I was gonna succeed, I'd need a clear plan. I couldn't just wing it anymore, so I made one. I decided I'd throw that bag up from my lap, then once I caught it, I'd go for 3 more throws, and that would be it. In my mind, I mapped out exactly where the sandbag would land each time, how much rotation I'd need, exactly where to position my hands, everything. For the next couple days, I ran through the plan over and over. I was thinking about it before bed and whenever I was walking around for work, going over each individual step in the chain. By the time my next session came around, I had already mastered the movement 1,000 times over. At that point, all that was left was to actually do it. I warmed up as usual, taking my time and doing an equal number of shoulders on each side, 200, right, then left, then back again a couple times, 220, and then I was ready. I walked up to that 250 bag knowing exactly how the lift was going to go start to finish, and you know what? That's how it went. First try, I shouldered the weight, and I swear that thing just flew up there. I'm showing the clip on screen here now so you can see. Man, that was a good day. And with that, here's a quick summary of everything. Before you even touch the sandbag, make a plan for how you will shoulder it. Lift the bag from the ground to your lap with max effort, using whichever lifting style is easiest for you. Position the bag on your lap so it's ready for you to lift it. Take a moment and prepare yourself, then put everything you have into lifting the bag from your lap, trying to bring it as high up on your chest as you possibly can. With the bag held against your chest, simply follow the remaining steps in your plan, completing the lift quickly and with precision, and that's it. There's my advice. Always remember that Sandbag to Shoulder starts on the ground, not when it's held against the chest. Remember that, and you're going to be hitting all kinds of records. Forget it, and no amount of strength will save you. Good luck. Thanks once again to John Imperial for sending me footage for this video. If you like the idea of combining sandbags with barbells and also running, he's the guy to go to. Highly recommend his channel. Also, just wanted to let you guys know I have opened up a few spots on my coaching roster, so if that's something you're interested in, definitely check out the link in the description, and I hope to hear from you soon. And with that, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.